All right, what's going on, y'all? This is day 11's video. Now, I apologize because this is actually coming a day late. Just want to acknowledge that, own that. Had a little bit of a hiccup, but hey, we're here. I'm committed to doing this. And the whole point of this challenge is about pushing ourselves to do better, right? Not being perfect, but better. And so here we are. I'm doing that. I want to make sure that I tried my very best to maintain this commitment to you by bringing you a video every day. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shoot a video that was supposed to be done yesterday, today, and then I'm also going to shoot today's today. So let's just dive in real quick and let's recap what's been going on. By the way, I hope these videos are helpful. I hope that they're giving you ideas to consider, to improve yourself. Ideas, I know this, for me, ideas change who I am. Ideas give me opportunities to think higher thoughts, better thoughts, to consider alternatives that are in fact better. So that's the whole point of this, is just to be a catalog of ideas for you to consider in terms of becoming the better version of you. Right. So let's recap, because we've talked about a couple of topics, and within those topics we've had key words. So in the topics of dreams, let's just talk about the 4 words we talked about when it comes to dreams. The first one would be desire. What is it that you want? Asking that is such a powerful question. What do I really want? You see, I think sometimes we actually don't take time to consider what we really want. But if we would identify that and then begin to increase that desire to a burning desire, to outweigh every other idea that would hold us back or compete with that very thing that you truly do want. That's good for us. It's not the passions of temptation, but it is the desires to be who you actually can be. There's a version of you that it's possible for you to become, the better version of you, the healthy version, the successful version. But it takes courage and it takes desire for us to step out and become that person. Now, in terms of that, we then talked about setting goals, which goals have all to do with taking desires and giving them organized plans. Writing it out very clearly what we want. The clearer, the better. You want to get precise. You want to give time frames. You want to really outline the ideas that it will take to get to that goal. And you want to keep up with that goal. And it's super, super important as you chase those dreams to have not only big overarching goals, but to also have small in-between goals, right? Now, with that though, we have to recognize that life's going to be difficult. We're going to struggle. Life's going to hit us. And with that, we must have good reasons to maintain our goals. Reasons are the things that ground us, keep us when it is that we are at our weakest point and that we want to give up. We're not sure that we have those desires anymore. We're not sure that that goal means what it did to us, but the reasons is what keeps us motivated. It keeps us moving forward. So you must identify your why, your multiple whys of why it is you want what it is you want. And the last part of that would have to be the fact that you and I must develop disciplines. We must develop disciplines. We must begin to identify key habits, key concepts, things that we want to achieve. And the only way we can do that is to have the disciplines that support those dreams. Now, discipline's difficult. You're not going to be perfect. In fact, if you have ever had a challenge that you're trying to achieve, understand this. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to commit. And when you fall, you recommit. And if you fall again, keep committing until the developed discipline is installed and you are then that kind of person. So understand that this has all to do with your dreams. Now, we also talked about the concept of personal development, which means that we must grow as a person. We must develop, because who you become is much more important than what you achieve. In fact, I would submit, if you don't become the better version of you, you will not achieve what it is that you desire and what you're capable of. But it does require that you change who you are. You must increase yourself. And so we talked about 4 key concepts, which number 1 would be our physical health. Physical health, having the vitality, feeling good enough to, in fact, do the things that we want to do. Most people don't do well because they don't feel well. So we have to do the disciplines to grow, develop, and become healthy. And these are things we're constantly working on. That's what we're doing in this goal right now. We're working on our health, right? Health, fitness, appearance, all those things are important. We also have our emotional health. Emotional health, our attitude. You know, your attitude, whether you think you can or you think you can't, will determine whether it will always be right. In other words, regardless of how you look at a situation, that's how it's going to be, because your perception of it has a lot to do with your reality. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have absolutes and that there's not, true. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is so many times we fail to see past the negativity because we ourselves are negative. We fail to see the new opportunity that is actually there, but we're so pessimistic that we don't act upon it. And there's been so many stories about people who they just kept on going. They endured the emotional battles, the fatigue of doing so. And we must do the same. We must get motivated, inspired, and keep pushing forward, even when we're not sure how it's going to come together. But we have to have the right attitude, the attitude of gratitude, the attitude that it's going to be well. And then we also talked about our intellectual health, which has all to do with our understanding, our knowledge, our skills. This comes from, reading good books. It comes from studying, taking classes, taking things online, right? Watching videos, things that are informative. We want to increase our knowledge so that way we can help and be helpful, right? You want to be able to add value to people, so you have to be able to increase in your intellectual health. And last, we talked about spiritual health, which what I refer to here has a lot to do with your identity, who you are, who you really are. This body, all of these other things, that's just a surface part of you, but who you really are will determine what you really achieve, because I do believe that your identity is like a thermostat, and whoever you are will regulate everything else that's going on externally. So if you begin to cool down, wherever your identity is, you'll pep yourself back up. You'll get back up. Don't even worry about it. It's just a part of your internal regulation. But you also have a difficult time going beyond your identity, because anytime you do begin to heat things up and your life takes off, your identity will bring you back. So what we have to do is increase our identity. We have to, change our people that we hang out with. We have to put ourselves in new environments. We have to challenge ourselves to increase the person that we are, proving who we actually are. And that has all to do with your potential, right? And that is increasing our identity. And that's all under the idea of personal development. Now, the second topic we've been talking about is financial freedom. And in my opinion, I think it's a very noble thing to desire getting better and living independent, to be able to live in a way that you retire with dignity, and that you have resources to pass on to your children's children. All right, you want to leave a resourceful legacy for all those that is in your household, and this is done. Right? This is a noble task. And it starts with your value, the value that you add as an individual, adding to your business, adding to companies, adding to the economy. You increase your value, you increase your income. And that's why we want to do the personal development. We're increasing because you don't get paid by time. If you got paid by time, you wouldn't have to show up, but you're paid by the value you offer within that time. So it's super important that we are increasing our value in order to increase our income. And then we talked about cash flow, which simply means we are maintaining positive cash flow. We're budgeting, we're accounting, we're making sure that we live below our wages, because if you keep raising your expenses to reach or exceed your income, you can never get ahead. But the goal, not just as a business, but as a person, which by the way, you should run your life like a business. You are in business. You represent you. You go to work for yourself when you go to your job. But understand, we have to be cash flow positive. And now let's talk about why. And that is because we need to be able to multiply our money through investing. Now listen, a lot of areas in investing. I just want to keep it super simple to give you concepts. So 2 concepts for investing, in my opinion. Number 1 is active capital. A mentor of mine told me about active capital. It's where you take excess money of your own and you fund an idea. Maybe you buy a product and you sell it for more than you purchased for, right? Simple wholesale retail situation. Or maybe you you buy equipment so that you can offer service, whatever it is. But basically what the idea is, you are taking time and money and creating an opportunity to increase your money. And that's the goal. That's the goal of investing, is we don't want to just add, we want to multiply. The law of 72 when it comes to money means that we must be doubling our money as quickly as possible and compounding that doubling. So active capital into a business is a great way to do that. There's also passive income, which is where you give someone who is looking for active capital, they don't have it themselves, or they need more than what they have, and you can now join in, right? You can join in and be a part of what they're doing, not in your labor, but with your money. And now you are receiving a dividend or a payout. You're receiving interest off the money that you have given. That's a great opportunity with whether, again, it's a business, real estate, stocks, right? All of these things are great ways to increase your money. But again, the goal here, understand that the goal is you want to increase your money. You want to double it quickly, because you got to understand, number 1, there's a rule, there's a existing principle, there's a thing called inflation, which means if you lay your money on a table or put it in a safe, if you were to come back to that safe 10 years later and grab that same cash, its value would be less. It would actually be worth less. You would then be able to pay for less groceries. You'd be able to pay for a lesser car because your money is losing value due to inflation. So you have to increase your money to not just match, but exceed inflation. And then you also want to increase it so that way, again, you're building something powerful, building something to, again, retire well and leave something. And again, this is just a noble idea. It's a noble thing to want to do this. I'm not simply saying that this has anything to do with, how good of a person you are or how valuable you are to the community or your church or anything like that. I'm just merely saying that as a goal that's connected. I mean, we work a majority of our lives, right? We might as well make sure that we have something to show for it when we're done working, right? Having something that, again, we're able to retire well. I mean, who doesn't want to retire, right? Who doesn't want to do these things? And that's actually setting us up for our next video, which has all to do with the life you want to live, the lifestyle, the things that you want. And I would submit to you that's going to have everything to do with your income, with how well you cash flow, and how well you do in investing, right? So these are just some ideas. Again, I'm just I think everyone, it's kind of a taboo thing, but maybe this is something that you're interested in. Maybe you're like, man, I want to do something with my money. I want to make sure that I'm doing wise, smart things. And so hopefully this is helping you to increase in your desire to do so. But hey, we'll catch you for the next video in just a minute.